quite a few institutes from these sectors. He works as a senior program advisor with Strategic Foresight Group, which is a think tank engaged in crafting new policy concepts that enable decision makers to prepare for a future in uncertain times. He is actively engaged in research on subjects like IPR, developmental economics, and inclusive growth. He was instrumental in organizing the first Indo-US education conclave in 2011, wherein 25 state legislators from United States, 28 US universities, and over 300 Indian universities and institutes participated. He played a key role as a coordinator in organizing 89th Akhil Bharatiya Marathi Sahitya Sammelan held in 2016. This event is considered to be the best event in the history of literature events organized in India. He has delivered presentations and was a keynote speaker in various forums represented by industry, regulatory, university departments, and educational institutes across the globe on topics related to World Trade Organization, intellectual property rights, drug regulations, clinical trials management, and issues and concerns of pharmaceutical industry at national and international symposia. He is a recipient of the Young Achievers Award for the year 2006 instituted by University of Pune by Management Department. Special Appreciation Award Maharashtra 50 in youth category for contribution in industry socio-education activities and prestigious National Brotherhood Award for the year 2010. Lijjat Ratna Award 2018 to name a few. He has authored four books, namely Forensic Pharmacy, Pharmaceutical Management, Drug Regulatory Affairs, and Essentials of Clinical Research, which have received wide acclaim from industry and academia. He holds 5 patents to his credit in the area of pharmaceutical technology. Presently, he works as advisor or member of board of following companies: Planet Core Group, BVG India Limited, Biotechnologies, Badway Engineering, Climate Sweden, Dalmia Bharat Sugars, Cellbeans Technologies. Many healthcare and technology companies from India and abroad engage his services for creating access and business development opportunities in India. He is founder and chief trustee of Arise and Awake Foundation, which works on the thoughts and principles of Swami Vivekananda and aims to motivate rural youth and guide them for employment and nation building. He has traveled extensively in America, Europe, Asia, Africa for business development, conferences, part of high power delegations, education, and cultural exchanges, and also to explore new business opportunities. Mr. Itkar believes positive attitude, life skills, knowledge backed by hard work and passion is the only way leading to success, and lives his life with enthusiasm and with full of positive energy. With this long list of glory and accolades, may I request Mr. Sachin Itkar sir to please start with the session. Itkar sir, over to you.
Yes, a warm welcome to all the participants to this session. My greetings to all of you, and I take this a great pleasure to come on this platform. And before starting the session, I would like to thank DY Patil College of Pharmacy, all the faculty members, and dynamic principal Narendra Beware, who is my very close friend as well as my well-wisher, and he has seen my journey in last 1.5 decades. It's really a matter of great pride to be associated with DY Patil College of Pharmacy. And through this webinar, I would like to take you through some of the important insights which this present pandemic of COVID, how it is going to affect the Indian pharmaceutical industry. And everything is not negative. There is a positive side also. And we always should look at the positive side of this corona menace. And there are certain opportunities, challenges which industry is going to face. And as a matter of fact, all the pharmacy professionals who are working in this field, So they have to really look at very differently the way they used to work. And in next 45-50 minutes of this dialogue, I would like to take you through some of the facts which we have arrived through the research activities. I work with Strategic Foresight Group, which is a think tank to government, not only to Indian government, but we work in more than 50 countries, and we are engaged in crafting policies for the nations. Fortunately, I have worked on some of the healthcare initiatives with government, and we are working on the policies for Indian pharmaceutical industry, that how this industry should face this COVID menace. And through this interaction, I will share some of my insights about COVID and its consequences to the Indian pharmaceutical industry. Let me tell you that today we are living in the world with full of changes. If you look at around, you will find changes are happening, and change is the only constant. And just go back to 1995. We can say that world before 1995 was different. World after 1995 was different. There are reasons. Three things which have changed this world, which I consider these three changes have most influence on our livings today, on our lives today. And the first change which took place, uh, say 27 years back, 14th April 1993, when internet was commercialized in the world. So before 1993, there was no internet. 1993 onwards, we got access to the internet, and all businesses got changed because of the internet. And because after the internet, e-commerce, then there are information technology activities, communication technology related industries have grown, and we have seen the growth of ICT industry, we have seen the growth of telecommunication industry, and this is because of the change which took place in 1993. The second major change which took place was on 1st of January 1995, when India became member of World Trade Organization. So WTO came in effect from 1st of January 1995, and WTO has greatly affected the pharmaceutical industry in India, because we all of us we know that we had a Indian Patent Act of 1970, and we used to respect process patents and not the product patents. But 1995 onwards, because of our membership to World Trade Organization and because of agreement of TRIPS as a part of WTO, so we changed our patent system to product patent system, and that has greatly affected the Indian pharmaceutical industry, because before 1995 there was no research activity happening in the pharmaceutical industry. We were only concentrating on manufacturing and manufacturing large volume low tech drugs. But 1995 onwards, we started doing research because of the product patents. And you will be surprised to know that 1995 Indian pharmaceutical industry, the turnover was hardly 20,000 crores rupees. But industry has come a long way in last 25 years. And today in 2020, if you look at Indian pharmaceutical industry, so you will be happy to know this is the third largest manufacturing pharmaceutical manufacturing industry in the world. So we are in third position as far as manufacturing of pharmaceuticals are concerned. As far as our share in the pharmaceutical world is concerned, so in value terms, we are close to 4 to 4.5%. But volume wise, you will be happy to know that today we are manufacturing 20% of world's pharmaceuticals in India. You will be happy to know that 50% of world's vaccines are manufactured in India. You will be happy to know that today we have largest number of US FDA, MHRA, TGA approved facilities outside USA and Europe, and we have roughly 350 US FDA approved facilities. And today you all have read in the papers, news, or you have through social media that hydroxychloroquine, which is in demand drug today, which was invented by this industry, Indian pharmaceutical industry in 1935. Today, our industry is exporting to whole of the world. Almost we have exported last month to more than 80 countries. Hydroxychloroquine is being exported, and this journey of Indian pharmaceutical industry is hardly this industry is 120 years old, because we all know in 1901 Bengal Chemicals and Pharmaceutical Work was the first company which got registered in India, and after that Alembic Pharmaceuticals, Cipla, these were the companies prior to independence, and then real impetus came. The growth impetus came after 1970 when we changed the process, the patent system, and then we have registered more than 20,000 pharmaceutical units in the country. Today, we have roughly 12,000 to 14,000 good manufacturing facilities in the country. And as I said, that we have largest number of USFDA and MHRA approved facilities. Today, you will be happy to know that in this COVID menace, and to the world is today, there is a great challenge that how we should find solution to this COVID. And you will be happy to know that Serum Institute of India is engaged with Oxford University, Oxford Research Center, and they're coming out with a vaccine probably in the month of September. Okay, so this first lot of vaccines will be available to treat this coronavirus. There's a company called Zydus Cadila. They have also claimed that they have found out a solution for this coronavirus. And there are 6 companies in India today who are engaged in devising a solution for corona. And India and Indian pharmaceutical industry is in a position today that if these trials become successful and these vaccines in September, if it's the market, so we will be able to supply to more than 100 plus countries, and India will play a major role in handling this corona issue globally. Today, world is looking at Indian pharmaceutical industry as a solution provider industry, and this exciting journey of pharmaceutical industry, you can say 1995 onwards, in last 25 years, we have made a remarkable progress. Prior to 1995, there was hardly a company which was engaged in research of pharmaceuticals. But today, I'm happy to tell you that almost we have 500 plus pharmaceutical companies who are actively engaged in research of pharmaceuticals. Not only medicines, but research on APIs, research on packaging materials, research on medical devices, research on even drug delivery systems, and all these facets of pharmaceutical industry, our companies are doing exceptionally well. And this is, as I told you, this change of product patent system and our membership to WTO from 1st January 1995 has changed India, changed the pharmaceutical industry. The third major change which took place was in 2003 when Human Genome Core was unveiled. And that was the point where biotech industry started growing in this country. Today we call it as not only a pharmaceutical industry, but we call it as a biopharmaceutical industry, because the newer medicines are coming from bio origin. And if you look at this corona issue, let me tell you a brief about how this pandemic hit the world. In fact, there are now debates going on in the world whether this virus is prepared in the laboratory or this has come through some other sources. So this debate will go on whether China is the culprit in this, or it has come through or it was out of control of China. We don't know, but there are strong proofs that it may be a sort of an beginning of a biological war and beginning of or maybe a trial that whether biological weapons work or not. Now, if this is true, then the world, the next few years are going to be very challenging for the world. See, because of what we have faced in last couple of months, and what China, Japan, Europe, and America have faced from last few months, this is very alarming, and this has really questioned the way human living. This has challenged the human living and existence of human beings. And if this is the beginning of a biological war, beginning of biological weapons, then pharmaceutical industry has to fight this war as a warrior, because this is the only industry the world is expecting some miracle medicines, miracle solutions. And uh, I'm very happy to tell you that I'm part of the think tank, so I know what government is taking, the steps which various governments are taking. Uh, World Health Organization, uh, United States pharmaceutical industry, European pharmaceutical industry, Japanese pharmaceutical industry, and every country's pharmaceutical industry is engaged in developing solutions to this coronavirus. This is a form of, this is the first form of coronavirus has hit the world. It may be, we may expect a few more similar viruses, hitting or going to create trouble in the future. But if you look at the developments, so what pharmaceutical industry have done is remarkable work. Let me share with you that there are almost 20 plus American companies who are engaged in active research on developing medicines to treat corona. Japanese pharmaceutical industry, European pharmaceutical industry, Israeli pharmaceutical industry, Australian pharmaceutical industry, and Indian pharmaceutical industry. They all are developing drugs. Even Chinese companies have claimed that they have developed drugs. But all these drugs will come in the market in next 3 to 6 months. Uh, Till that time, we all have to take due care. And I request through this webinar to all the participants and to all your near and dears that as a pharmacist or as a person engaged with pharmacy profession, please make great awareness about the precautions to be taken, because at this moment what we can do is to take a precaution, and this is something, prevention is very essential for all of us by the time the medicines hits the market. Now let's come to Indian pharmaceutical industry, that how Indian pharmaceutical industry today can take a, you can say, advantage of this situation. Uh, Before conducting this webinar, since morning I am speaking to some of the industry leaders, that what are their views, that how Indian pharmaceutical industry should treat uh, this situation, and most of them are optimistic. The leaders of Indian pharmaceutical industry are optimistic that this situation is going to help industry to grow tremendously in the next few years. Let me tell you that in last 1.5 months, almost 52 Indian pharmaceutical companies, they have manufactured hydroxychloroquine and they have exported. Now the cumulative export of hydroxychloroquine is more than $2 billion US. Now world has pressing demands about hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, some of the antibiotics. Many Indian pharmaceutical companies have got huge orders and they're unable to cope up with the orders. US, Europe is heavily buying from India. And we have a great opportunity here that tomorrow, if world takes action against China and world uh, stops buying pharmaceuticals from China, then obviously they have to buy from India, because Indian pharmaceuticals are not only cheaper compared to the prices with other pharmaceutical companies of different countries, but Indian pharmaceutical medicines are high tech, high quality, low cost. So this is our main USP, that we are manufacturing, developing high tech, high volume, and low cost pharmaceutical products. I think this is a great advantage uh, which India has. We have almost 20% of world generic share. So 20% of the world generic pharmaceuticals are being manufactured in India. Today, uh, as I told you about hydroxychloroquine and some of the other medicines, even our Ayurvedic and homeopathic industry in India is exporting great amount of preventive products. So they sell it as a immunity booster products, because they can't claim that they are antivirals. But many Indian Ayurvedic companies, homeopathic companies, in last 1 month has done a great amount of to export of their medicines, which they call it as an immunity builders. And I'm happy to tell you that Camphor 1M, arsenic of homeopathic sources have been approved by Ayush Ministry, and some of the Ayurvedic products as immunity boosters, uh, again approved by Ayush Ministry, are registering a great amount of sell, and they're generating a great amount of demand from all over the world. Chyawanprash like product today is a great hit in the market, not only in India but even abroad, and they have placed huge orders for Chyawanprash. Now, if you look at next few years, that curative products, yes, they will be in great demand, but preventive medicines are going to be in a great demand. And the focus of pharmaceutical companies from India is to develop a preventive product. If you go on Ayush website, I request all of you to study Ayush Ministry's website. They have approved a number of products, and Indian Ayurvedic companies, we all know that under T license, these Ayurvedic drugs have been manufactured with WHO GMP norms. Now, these products have been approved, and they are, they have been exported. Now, let us look at that. Suppose this vaccine hits the market, uh, says between September and December. Now the demand is going to be huge, not only from Indian population but from abroad also. And six companies from India are engaged in manufacturing uh, vaccine to treat this corona. Uh, the this bio industry, uh, which are biotic based industries, they're also doing a great job. Uh, Maybe Serum Institute of India, Bharat Serum, Shanta Biotech, then Panacea, then uh, this Kiran Muzumdar Shaw's company. So, and similar small scale companies also, they're doing a great work. Now, if you look at medical devices industry, uh, we all know the MyLab from Pune. They got the first approval from ICMR. Now, this MyLab today, you will be surprised to know that they have 2,000 crores rupees orders booked, and their order pipeline, the supply chain will go for next 2 years. That is a kind of an demand these rapid testing kits market have created for MyLabs. It was a small company from Pune. So you have seen that if you have a technology, if you have a right product at right time, so it can change the fortune of a company. Now, not only pharmaceuticals, uh, the medicines, they're going to be in demand, but active pharmaceutical ingredients, this API industry. Now, Indian pharmaceutical industry used to import from China APIs. But in last few years, they have developed their own strength, and today, roughly you can say that 80% of API requirements which have been consumed by Indian pharmaceutical industries are being manufactured in India only. So we have become self-sufficient in API manufacturing, and last year this API we manufactured close to $15 billion. So roughly you can say around a lakh of crores rupees APIs are being manufactured in India. We are now exporting APIs to the world. So not only formulation industry, but API industry is going to benefit. Uh, we have great export opportunities. The drug delivery systems, this technology side, pharmaceutical technology, drug delivery systems are also in great demand. Many Indian companies are today engaged in developing drug delivery solutions, and this industry is also doing a great work, and they're exporting the technologies to all over the world. Packaging materials. Now India has gained uh, almost, you can say, roughly 35% of world uh, pharma packaging market share. There is another industry, this a part of pharmaceutical industry which is growing. Pharmaceutical machinery manufacturing industry. Indian machines are high-tech machines which are used by global pharmaceutical industry. Now, this machine manufacturing industry, uh, they have created excellent technologies which have been accepted and admired by the world. As I told you, that this technology side, because technology is going to be the future, and the healthcare industry, so healthcare technologies is going to be a great future. Uh, when I uh, when I'm saying healthcare technologies, so now we have to broaden our spectrum, and we have to think of a healthcare industry as a whole. Uh, we should not limit our thinking to the pharmaceutical industry. Pharmaceutical industry is one of the part of the healthcare chain. Okay, and this healthcare industry now, because students are here uh, on this webinar, so you should be happy to know that all the countries' governments are diverting their budgets towards healthcare. Like in 2008, world have experienced a great recession, and that was because of the failure of banking and financial sector. So this banking and financial sector created that recession, and then we changed the whole banking and the financial sector uh, norms, and then we had a system which have changed this banking and financial sector. This 2020 recession the world is going to experience. Already we are experiencing that recession. So this 2020 recession is because of this COVID, and today has all the countries see this. Uh, we have experienced so many pandemics, but this is the only pandemic where almost 204 countries of the world have been affected. So at one point of time, uh, we have experienced cholera, we have experienced Spanish flu, we have experienced SARS, but geographically they were limited to certain region. But this COVID is all over the globe. It's present in 204 countries. 204 countries of the world are shut today, completely shut. And first time in the history that the whole communication and transport is completely shut. So no aircraft, commercial flights are operating, no trains are operating, locals are not operating. No. So first time the world is completely been shut for almost 2 months, and this all the countries' governments, they are diverting their funding towards healthcare industry. So for pharmacy professionals or healthcare professionals, This is going to create great amount of opportunities in the future, because India have yesterday only we had an announcement, a package announcement, and if you study that package, healthcare industry is going to gain a lot. So maybe pharmaceutical manufacturing companies, biologicals manufacturing companies, or related companies, they are going to get great amount of subsidies and great amount of taxation benefits. Okay, so number of activities in the industries are going to grow up. Many new companies will start in healthcare domain, and healthcare is not only limited to manufacturing of medicines, but healthcare goes beyond manufacturing of pharmaceutical medicines. It is about creating hospital infrastructure. This healthcare improvement plan, which Indian government is going to implement, they're going to modernize all the hospitals in the near future. So all the hospitals are going to be government origin hospitals are going to be totally are going to be modernized. So modernized with infrastructure, modernized with new tech, new equipments, medical devices, with new operation theaters, with new equipments. Okay, so that is going to create a great demand for pharmaceutical professionals. So you all uh, have to change the way you used to think about this industry, because post this COVID, once we gain a control on Corona, maybe in next 1 or 2 months, so this industry is going to be a different industry altogether. You may have joined pharmacy profession, especially students. If you joined pharmacy with a view that I'm going to enter into research, I'm going to work in quality, I'm going to work in regulator, I'm going to start my business. But whole dynamics is changing. So by the time you start working in this industry is going to be a different industry altogether. Now, healthcare industry, if you look at Indian government, or if you study any government's plan to improve the healthcare infrastructure, so it is about improving healthcare infrastructure, introducing new healthcare technologies, about bringing new solutions to this industry, about developing, you know, overall health program every country will have. Now, since I'm part of think tank which is related to uh, policies here, so let me tell you, in next couple of years, every person, every Indian person, government is going may start a health grants. Okay, so different schemes will be floated by the government, wherein every person will undergo diagnostics activities. Every person will have an access to government laboratories where he will be screened, on number of occasions, and government is going to focus that health of individuals and health of our community is going to be the great priority. And so healthcare professionals are going to be in great demand. Now, what I'm observing, because I sit on the board of few of pharmaceutical companies, healthcare technology companies, so we have experienced a complete transformation in last 1 month. Our plan have changed, because every company works with a vision, a, a plan, a business plan. So it is a yearly plan, it is next 5 years plan. Now this Corona had changed all business plans, and today the focus of the industry is completely changed. Now this every pharmaceutical company is trying to become more tech sensitive. Henceforth, it will become more tech sensitive. Henceforth, they will invest more in research. Henceforth, they will improve their product pipeline, wherein they will have, all preventive medicines more in their total plan of manufacturing, and so many, you can say, changes we are going to experience. Now the question is, are we all are prepared to handle these changes? As I told you in the beginning of the session, that the success of our, you can say, uh, how the success will be judged henceforth of individual or of a company or an organization is how individuals are capable of handling the changes, or the organization is capable of handling the changes. Now we all have to gain a control on handling of changes, and for that we all have to develop a a knowledge mind, knowledge mind in the sense that our mind should be full of with knowledge. Now it's all, again I'm telling you that we all have to become multitasking. Now, multitasking is going to be a keyword for all of our success. Henceforth, maybe we may be focused on one particular activity, or uh, we are keen on doing a particular thing. But henceforth, we all have to be, we all have to become multitasking, because the industry's demand is the industry after COVID. It will operate with less number of people, those who are high tech, those who are multitasking, those who have multi talents, those who have positive attitudes, those who have high skills. Now, a student or a professional, you know, uh, who is in healthcare sector, have uh, have to develop him with all these sort of skill sets. Now, to just give you some of the snapshots about that what industry is really looking at. Now, as I told you, that healthcare industry is undergoing a tremendous change, you know, and not only formulation industry, but all sorts of uh, you know uh, industries surrounding this healthcare domain. They all are changing, and all are going to grow in a big way. I'm recently, just to tell you, that I sit on the board of a company which is a startup, Selvins Technologies, which is into telemedicines. In last 1 month, this startup company have gained 6 contracts of telemedicines from Africa, from Gulf, because telemedicine is the area where uh, this now community is going to be aware about medicines, and maybe in future even people who are not literate, they will be trained that how they should track their medicines, and how they should get the information about their medicines. So they may call a call center, and he or she may get a information. Now, this telemedicines can, even colleges can start a telemedicine center, because there's going to be a demand, and government is coming up with a policy where telemedicines will be telemedicine will be promoted. So all the domains of healthcare industry are going to grow extremely. They're going to grow. Now let us identify opportunities for all of us. Now we all are quite keen about our careers. We all, want to grow in our life. Every a healthcare professional, he has a dream that he would like to become something in this industry. The right time has come. This COVID has given us a great opportunity to fulfill our dreams, to fulfill our ambitions, which with which we have started our careers. And my request to all of you here, those who are on this call, that we all have to visit our ambitions, revisit our ambitions, our goals in life. And now we have to align those goals and those ambitions, those desires, those dreams with this new, prospective opportunities which all are having. So let us focus all our energies and all our capabilities, and put in our best in the changing dynamics of healthcare industry. And I'm sure if we all work tirelessly, with passion, with hard work, with dreams, then nobody can stop us from becoming successful. Because for now, all other industries are going to suffer a great amount of recession. Uh, this year, unfortunately, our growth rate, country's growth rate is going to be less than 1%. It may be negative also. Worldwide, every economy is going to face a great amount of recession. Many industries will close down. Many industries will shut. Many other professionals from maybe information technology, information communication technology, telecommunications, auto industry, uh, then maybe from textile or from other sectors, no, those who are pillars of economy, they may lose their jobs. US last 2 months, 2 crore people have lost their jobs. In India, maybe once we start, our companies will start, they will go for a heavy amount of manpower reduction, and that is going to create a great panic in the country, and we all have to face that. But fortunately, those who are working in health profession, this is the only industry which is going to grow. May not be in single digit, double digit, but it may grow. You can't imagine. As I told you, my lab, which was nothing, has become a 2,000 crore company today with the orders, and it will grow. Similarly, I have seen so many companies. Let me share some of the examples. There is a company called Venus, which creates masks. Today, today only, I wanted to place an order to that company. They said that for next 8 months uh, uh, we are unable to supply your order. So many companies today which are engaged in this manufacturing of medicines, they're fully booked. So this is the only industry which is going to create new jobs. This is the only industry which is going to create newer and newer opportunities for the professionals. And other professionals may, uh, they will, this industry will open doors for them to come and work in this industry. This is going to be a huge industry in years to come. So, uh, blessing in disguise, we can say, for the healthcare professionals. This COVID has created great amount of opportunity for healthcare professionals. Now, let me tell you, diagnostics industry is going to completely change and completely, it will grow like anything. Preventive medicines, and not only for from allopathy, but from Ayurveda, Unani, homeopathy. No, they all these companies, those who are into manufacturing of uh, medicines from these sectors, they're also going to grow. Pharmaceutical machine manufacturing industry, pharmaceutical technology industry, drug delivery systems, then APIs, bulk drugs, then machines, you know. And another important point in next 5 minutes I would like to press upon are the new trends which we all have to understand. Uh, Dear professionals, let us prepare for AI and robotics, because artificial intelligence, the innovations which are happening in AI are going to change the pharmaceutical industry. Today, you know that you all have visited the pharmaceutical company. The great amount of artificial intelligence activities are going to get deployed in the pharmaceutical companies. Today morning, I saw one presentation that a company from Pune has developed, because now when you will enter in any office, or even if you go to an education institutes, now once this COVID era, this temperature, IR temperature measures are going to be compulsory everywhere. So wherever you will go in mall or in shops or in school colleges or in working places, automatic temperature, your body temperature will be is going to be recorded, and those who will find suspect, they won't be allowed to enter. Our company, I have saw the presentation today. They have developed a wonderful device, AI device, where a person will go stand in front of a machine. His automatic attendance will be done without the thumb impressions or without the biometric. So it will be taken automatically. His body temperature will be recorded, and at the same time, when he will pass uh, through that machine, he will be sanitized also. So those who have creative minds, any technology which related to uh, health and hygiene, which you will create, is going to be in a great demand. So I request all of you that please study artificial intelligence and robotics, machine learning. These are the three words which you all have to remember, because the whole dynamics is going to change. Now, robotics, already pharmaceutical companies have started using robots for the routine operations. It may be for packaging of pharmaceuticals. It is for uh, on the uh, manufacturing lines, just to find the uh, defects. No, robots are already in place. In future, more and more robots will be used by industry, and so pharmacy professionals have to learn robotics also, robotics and artificial intelligence, because AI, robotics, and machine learning, these three words which you all should study, and study their implications to your careers also. AI offers great amount of careers. Robotics offers great amount of careers. So study robotics and AI also as additional subject to your curriculum. And when you will start, now we all are on a break. So this is a mandatory break which has been given to all of us by nature. So let us respect this time, and whatever time henceforth you will get, maybe 15 days, 1 month, by the time you start working again. So my request to all of you is, take this time positively. Don't get panic, or don't try to be don't try to just waste this time. So this time we have to use for our improvement, because when we will start our activities in a normal way. No, so we should be equipped with full of knowledge, and in this time, you please try to develop, no, your thought process. You know, you should arrive at a thought process and plan for the future. That, considering or studying these trends, you all should have a strategy in action. Now our lives are going to be very challenging, and we should have a clear understanding of careers and clear understanding of our future path, because we should not fumble, or we should not land in difficulty. Now this nature has given us this time, you know to focus on ourselves, our energies, identify our inner strengths, identify that where I'm going to be fit in these changing times, because everything is going to be changed. What industry you have imagined, or the kind of a profession which you have imagined, is not going to be there. It is going to be a completely changed thing. So we all should focus on our strengths, study our weaknesses, try to minimize those weaknesses, identify a right opportunity for us, and you know now this threats, whatever threats which you feel that you have, try to overcome them. Okay, so the best way is to use this time to read, to learn, to unlearn certain things, to relearn new things. Because Alvin Toffler has rightly said that what life is about learning newer and newer things. We have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. That is life. And this time, this nature has given us this time. So relearn, learn new things. Okay? That is what is more important. And we have to be positive, because we don't know the future. No, but we have to equip ourselves to even challenge the future and to create opportunities for us. Now, we all are, you know, we are fortunate. We are part of this health industry, and today a great amount of burden is on all of us shoulder, because the community is looking at us. You know, this COVID has created a great amount of importance in the minds of people about the healthcare professionals. So, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, other healthcare professionals, today they are being treated. My request to all of you is, we have to be a knowledgeable healthcare professionals. So we should focus on becoming a knowledgeable healthcare professionals. I request all of you uh, that please use this time, use this uh, for our improvement, our development, and especially those who are students. Let me tell you that, let me reassure that you are going to get great jobs. Great jobs are waiting for you, great careers are waiting for you. But these careers will be for those who are knowledgeable, who have great amount of skill sets, and who are positive in their nature. So this knowledge, skills, attitude backed by hard work and passion is the only way to become successful in this industry. So I wish all of you a great success in the years to come, and I expect some of you should be should become leaders of this industry, should become scientists who will invent newer and newer medicines, not only for corona, but for future similar threats which world is going to face. And so we all have to be really prepared for this challenging future. So thank you very much for this interactive session. But I expect questions from you so that we can have more interaction, because this was my view about the industry which I put forth before all of you. But I also want to learn from you and learn your views also. So I thank Dr. Neeraj Vevare for this opportunity, all the staff members, especially Shubhangi, who was in constant touch with me, uh, and all the students, all the professional pharmacy professionals who joined this session. So now it is your turn. You please ask questions and we can have a good interaction for next half an hour.
Thank you, sir, for this amazing session. So it was really a wonderful session. I hope all the participants must have some or the other take-home message from from this particular webinar. I request all participants now to please put their messages or the questions or queries that they have related to today's webinar in the chat box, so that Dr. Sudhir Pandya sir will take these questions on your behalf and will ask to Mr. Sachin sir. So I request all participants to please message your questions or your queries in the chat box. Dr. Sudhir Pandya sir, over to you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you, everybody. Good evening, everybody.
Hello, Sudhir.
Sir,
Great
namaskar.
to see you here.
Thank you, sir.
Namaskar.
Sir, namaskar, and thank you for the very informative session that you conducted. And there are already a lot of messages in the chat box which are awaiting your answers. Plus, everyone of them has thanked you for the information that you have shared.
Yes.
Sir, may I have the liberty to ask the first question?
Yes, please, sir.
Please. Oh,
You are,
sure. Thank you.
you are one of the technology masters which I have seen in my career. So
Sir, thank you, sir. But okay, we can always meet apart. So my question was, has the government allocated certain areas for bio-pharmaceutical parks? One, two. When we are in the process of manufacturing a marker, can government help us in that area? Three. You had already talked about AI. Now, when we come to AI and blending of AI with the pharmaceuticals, for example, if I want to go in for a new type of a delivery system, will government help us there also?
okay. So shall I ask your questions one by? Shall I answer your questions one by one?
Yes, yes, please, yes, please, yes, please.
Yeah. So please repeat the first question. So that
has the government identified any areas for bio-pharmaceutical parks?
yeah. So our Prime Minister office, all of us know that they are scouting the global companies to come and set up their operations in India. Now, many companies, pharmaceutical companies, would like to move from China, and they would like to set up their bases in other parts of the world. Now,
Okay.
India is a right place because considering the ecosystem which is required for development of a pharmaceutical industry. Not only land or infrastructure, it is about getting a right manpower, because this is the knowledge-based industry and requires scientists, requires pharmacists, requires microbiologists and other healthcare specialists to be a part of this industry. Now, government has already allocated all over the India. They have earmarked 45,000 acres of land for these companies, those who are planning to come to India and set up their operations. Now, near Ahmedabad, there is a pharmaceutical SEZs in Gujarat. So Gujarat and Maharashtra, these two states are going to be key players in terms of attracting the pharmaceutical companies. Now there are ample land which has been allocated in Gujarat. The SEZs are being created in Maharashtra and Gujarat. So these two states will get some of the pharmaceutical top companies to come and set up their operations.
Okay. So my second question was, while preparing markers for these new drugs which are going to be developed in India, is government going to help us?
Yes. Now, if you look at the package which yesterday has been announced, now healthcare industry is going to enjoy a tax holiday on some of the research activities. So new drugs which are being manufactured, so they are going to get tax exemptions. Now there are going to be fundings are going to be provided by Science and Technology Ministry for development of new drugs. Especially if you are a SME company, small and medium scale enterprise, for that company, if they are engaged into drug discovery and development, so they are eligible to get grants from government. Government in the sense Ministry of Science and Technology. So they have grants available. So companies have to apply for the grants, and if their proposals have been accepted, they will get the grants from Ministry of Science and Technology.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I'll proceed with the questions from the participants that we have got.
Yes.
The first one will be, it is from one of the participants who has said, yesterday our respected PM announced 20 lakh crore package in this COVID situation. What is the benefit of this package to pharma industry?
Yeah. So now we have got some of the glimpse of this package, but the detailed documents we are going to receive, and even Indian Drugs Manufacturers Association, Association of this Organization of Pharmaceutical Producers of India, so they are also studying this document, and even Pharmexil, Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council. So they are going to create a draft after once they study the document, and these organizations will publish this document that which sector, which company is liable for, which sector company is liable for which benefit. Now that study is on, but what I read from the package, some of the glimpse, some of the insights which I have studied about how this industry is going to be benefited is, first, this healthcare companies will receive loans with the interest rate, with a lower interest rate. If any pharmaceutical company would like to set up a new facility or set up a new research park, so
Yes, sir.
they will be given loans at a lower interest rate. Second, there will be subsidies. For example, if a company is investing in research activities, and if the company, say for example, invests 100 crores, they may get 50 crores as a subsidy. Okay, so subsidies are going to be there so that to promote the research activities in the healthcare industries. Third, there won't be any export duties. Even import duties will be almost null on some of the key, because for research activities we have to import a lot of equipments which are not are present in India. So for that there won't be any import duties. So these are the some of the benefits which I have studied, but more details will be available soon and can be made public by these organizations.
Thank you, sir. That was very encouraging. One more question from Dr. Deshmukh ma'am is, what critical measures are expected from the government which can be included in relief package to ease the entrepreneurship in pharma industries, most importantly to MSME?
Yes, now MSME is a sector which is going to benefit a lot. Yesterday only MSME Minister Nitin Gadkari had given an interview and he has said that almost this out of this 20 lakh crore, majority benefits will be enjoyed by this MSME industry. Now for MSME, again, to set up a new business, if you are registered under MSME sector, so your loans will be at a subsidized interest rate. Today, if you apply for a loan, bank charge you anywhere between 12% to 15%. But for MSME, through this scheme, these loans will be available between 6% to 8%. This is my view. Again, the details will be available soon. Second, MSME, these benefits for MSME is government may make it compulsory for public sector undertakings and for buying of for government buyings, that almost 50 to 60% of the goods, products or services that government buys will be from these SME sectors companies. So SME sectors will get an assured business. Like,
Okay.
if there is a big public sector company, so they have almost 500 plus vendor companies. So government will encourage that most of the SME sector companies will be eligible to be the vendor companies for the larger companies. So this is another benefit which is going to be there. For pharmaceutical entrepreneurship, again, there's going to be a subsidy scheme. As I told you, if you invest 10 crores, so 5 crores rupees will be in subsidy. So this is what is a policy. Now the details will be very soon, because this package has been recently announced. So it will take another 10-15 days, for sector wise, every sector wise, their working is on.
Thank you, sir. One more question is from Mr. Roy. Do you
Yes.
think that AI course should be added in pharmacy course? To begin the answer, so once again, to begin the answer, this course is
Yes.
already included in the postgraduate scheme, but the rest you can answer better, sir.
No, now AI and robotics should be a part of undergraduate program also, because this industry is completely driven by this, especially the innovation part, especially the pharmaceutical industries. New product development activities are AI based. So AI should be a part of undergraduate program also, and students should study from undergraduate itself, because then he will be able to take a specialized program for post graduation. Now the implications of AI and robotics are not only limited to manufacturing, or not only limited to a particular activity. Now AI and robotics is going to drive this industry. Like, even your dispensing pharmacy, is this AI and robotics is going to be used in a great amount of way. So AI robotics, I feel, not only a part of PG. The students should not study in PG, but they should study as a subject in undergrad also, looking at the use which is happening in the industry.
Thank you, sir. One more question from Dr. Deshmukh again is, can budding entrepreneurs think of starting pharma firm post COVID-19? If yes, please explain how should the planning be done as far as finance, assistance, subsidies, aids from the government is concerned.
Pardon, sir, can you please repeat the first part?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Can budding entrepreneurs think of starting pharma firm post COVID-19?
Okay, pharma firm means because
As a pharma company.
Pharmaceutical manufacturing.
Right, sir.
Okay. Yes. Now this is the right time. I say that any entrepreneur would like to enter into pharma entrepreneurship. Now, when we say pharma entrepreneurship, manufacturing is one part. Even starting a service company related to pharmaceuticals is going to be a great hit and great success. You do any part related to healthcare, it has an opportunity and a scope. So government is really encouraging, as I told you in my session also, that every country's government is focusing now for next few years. Health and hygiene is going to be the main focus area. So any activity related to health and hygiene, no, is going to be of success. So there won't be any issue related to that. Now, what entrepreneurship you would like to start is more important. If you look at manufacturing, this is a highly capital intensive activity. To set up a manufacturing plant with today's guidelines and WHO GMP standards, it is anywhere between 10 to 20 crores rupees minimum, even if you want to start a small plant. But if you'd like to start some technology activity related to a service activity, service entrepreneurship related to pharmaceutical industry, so it can be started with a capital of 50 lakhs to 10 crores rupees. So you can set up a data management center, you can set up a telemedicine facility, you can set up manufacturing of some of the specialty chemicals, which can be used for sanitization purpose, even manufacturing a sanitizer, with different sort of an not only alcoholic base, but with different sort of an other chemical bases, can be another activity. Starting a surgical entrepreneurship in surgical activities, like creating masks, creating specialty PPE kits, creating developing maybe some devices, medical devices. That can be another activities. So not only manufacturing of drugs you should look at, but you can also look at other entrepreneurship activities which also have great scope.
Thank you, sir. By answering in this manner, you have already answered one more question, which was asking for which sector would be a bright future in the pharma industry. That you have already answered, sir. Thank you. So I'll push on to the next question, and that is, of course, it is not very relevant, but I mean, it is very relevant to it. Very relevant to this chapter, but one person is asking whether hydroxyquinoline manufacturing will help the Indian situation.
No, see, hydroxychloroquine is one of the drugs which, again, there is a debate whether this is really useful or not. But many research groups have the results of hydroxychloroquine with azithromycin. This is a combination drug. So hydroxychloroquine plus azithromycin. This treatment have proved effective in many patients. So that is why governments of different countries, they have recommended that those patients who are suspects of corona, they should be given hydroxychloroquine with azithromycin, and it controls the infection. So it has proved, through trials it has been proved. So many hospitals are using that. So today it is hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin are playing a good amount of, they're proving beneficial to the treatment. But in future, maybe once the vaccine is there, so there won't, this demand is going to be, the demand is not what it is today. Because when vaccines and new medicines will come, obviously people will go for newer treatments. And hydroxychloroquine is a drug of 1935. Still, it has been, it is proven very effective. So we should be happy that Indian drug is doing miracle at this moment. When newer medicines will be there, definitely the use of hydroxychloroquine will be minimized.
Thank you, sir. The next two questions I am going to merge because they are in connection to one another. It is, yes, what kind of changes are needed in pharmacy education to grab the opportunities given by COVID, and what is the role and opportunity for an academician in the coming future?
Yeah, in fact, I wanted to give at least 5 minutes time to about this, but good that this question is there in my session. I missed this. In fact, let me tell you that uh, pharmaceutical education is going to drastically change because of this COVID. The pattern of education is going to be changed. Now we have seen in from last 1.5 months, we have become digital. Now there are going to be more and more digital platforms will be created for better learning. So already this has been tried in foreign universities. Now the total semester till because till October in all foreign universities is now digital. So there won't be any human interface. So all the classes, all the assignments, all the examinations will happen on a digital platform. So pharmacy education have to develop more and more digital platforms for better learning. Okay, so that is one thing. Second, in education, as I told you, artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, these are some of the new subjects which will get introduced. Third, the education which I see will become more and more research oriented. So, if you look at the pharmacy curriculum, we try to create a jack of all trades and master of none. Okay, unless and until the person pursues a post graduation or a PhD in a particular subject, he becomes the masters. But I think the focus henceforth will be on the education focus will be on research oriented curriculum, and that is good for the students also. We already have a doctoral program like PharmD already in our as part of pharmacy education. So I see henceforth that even this B Pharm or D Pharm and M Pharm, so these three courses will also be, many universities will have a revision of the syllabus, a revision of the curriculum, and uh, COVID has created an opportunity for the pharmacy education that we should become more diversified and more versatile in our activities. Till date, our pharmacy curriculum is more focused on, our understandings are all the subjects related to a pharmaceutical industry. Okay, pharmaceutical industry, pharmaceutical trade, pharmaceutical regulations, and uh, hospital pharmacy. But we should diversify this, and even we should include more and more subjects like related to healthcare technologies, related to medical devices, related to pharmaceutical machineries, pharmaceutical technologies, newer and newer technologies which are changing the dynamics of the industry. So I think we have an opportunity to diversify and become uh, more, broad in terms of understanding the healthcare domain. So this is my view about a change of pharmaceutical education. And second opportunity, which I see, is henceforth the pharmaceutical institutes will not only impart education, but they have to do some business activity also in add-on to the providing education. Like institutes may start clinical development centers. Institute may start healthcare delivery, developing of healthcare drug delivery systems. Institutes may start research labs, which some of the institutes are already doing, but henceforth more and more institutes will do that. And government will also pour in a lot of money and grants for institutes to start research centers. So I think the dynamics of education will change. This is my view.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, as there are some 82 plus odd questions still remaining, may I ask Shubhangi ma'am to get in touch with you later on with the help of the participants, and then you can answer them. Is it
Yeah,
okay for you? Are you comfortable with it?
yeah, I'm very happy to see so many questions and so many people are expressing their views about this session. I hope all of you have enjoyed the information which I have shared. I'm not a good orator, but with some of the information which I have because of my access to the industry and because of my access to the policies. So I am been able to give you some different insights which you may not be able to read or learn from other sources. But this is from my because I'm involved in crafting policies. So I shared some of the new thoughts, and I hope all of you have liked that. If for any question, I will put my email ID here, so even you can pose questions to me on email, and I will try to answer my best.
Yeah.
So my email
Thank
is Sachin Itkar, SACHIN ITKAR @yahoo.com.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing it. And I would request all the participants to now, before we close the session, our principal, sir, Dr. Neeraj Vivare, sir, will be having a word, will be sharing his views on today's session. And I also request the participants to fill in the Google feedback form, which will be uploaded within the next matter of few minutes. Please, may I ask our principal, sir, to join in, please?
Yes, yes. Am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
Sachin, sir, very good evening.
Yeah, very good.
As usual, you have changed the entire scenario. When we started the session, it was very sunny outside, and now it's heavily raining. So, like this, you have always capacity to change the entire situation. And very nicely and very lucid way, you have explained how this threat of COVID can be a good challenge to prove ourselves as a pharmacy professionals. And most
Yes.
important, it has come from a person like you, sir. You have already said that I am one of the witness of your journey, and that is true. I know the way you have started your career as a teacher, and today with your own sincere effort, dedication, and hard work, you have reached to this level that all pharmacy teachers, pharmacists are proud of you, sir. You are a self-made
So
man,
much.
and I have witnessed your progress. And today, it is very soothing to all of us that you are sitting at one position as a part of think tank and giving advice, suggestions, and every help to the government in this COVID area. And as a representative of pharmaceutical industry, you are not a sir. You say that you are not good orator, but I said that you are the best orator. And how the practical information which is required. Why these many questions, sir? Because everyone what they were looking, you have given them that information, first hand information, and the practical information, which is the most important. We all have really enjoyed this session. I have really enjoyed. It was a lot of addition to our knowledge, and we look forward for many more sessions for this. And you are not orator, but you are a role model for all of us, our students. Many students are from your area, sir, from Marathwada, from where you have come up and started your career. So for them and for me also, you are a very good friend come role model. So thank you for sparing your time in such busy schedule for the college. You are always extending the help to all of us and our college specifically. Thanks, and over to Pandya, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I would now like to invite Dr. Vaibhav, sir, to propose the vote of thanks. Dr. Vaibhav, sir, please.
Thank you, Pandya, sir. I, Dr. Vaibhav Vaidya, on behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Pharmacy, Akurdi, principal and all faculty members, would like to extend my gratitude to Mr. Sachin Itkar, sir, for sparing your valuable time and enlightening our audience with different aspects, right from development of pharmacy field in India, then use of and scope of preventive medicines in future, artificial intelligence. I also thanks all participants for their patient listening. Thank you one and all. Over to Pandya, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Please may I ask, I request Shubhangi madam to come in, please.